Hello, my name is Mackenzie, and this is the Coddiwomples and Coffee Knitting podcast, episode 2. I forgot to mention last time, but you can also find me on Instagram as Coddiwomples and Coffee. It's my knitting Instagram, so if you're curious about that, you can find me there. Filming in a bit of a different room this week because there's construction happening in front of the house, and that the camera is picking that up, and the noise causes the dog to just sit and make tiny boof noises nonstop. And so hopefully everything will be a little bit quieter if we're in here. So I'm going to start today with, since it's actually cool enough to wear in it, what I am wearing. This is the Seaway pullover by Ozetta. And it's in the colorway, I believe it's Night Triumphant, I'm pretty sure. It's from Skein and the Stitches, Jess's Sarah J. Maas collection. And so my brain is just like, the resand yarn. But I'm pretty sure it's Night Triumphant. I'm the solid 99% certain that is the colorway for that. I love it. It's got this, you can kind of see it in the variegated, this super subtle cabling detail. This is actually a sweater that I learned how to do cables without cable needles because I did the swatch and was like, well, I'm not cable needling an entire sweater like that. So I can now do that. So that's exciting. You know, that's kind of a fun fact. I don't know. Yeah, so that's what I'm wearing. Sorry if I'm a little bit discombobulated. It has been a morning. The dog has been in and out and in and out and in and out, and it's just been a lot. And there's been a lot of different noises happening. It's taken me about an hour to get to the point where I'm recording. And so if I'm a little bit spacey, that's what's happening. I'm terribly sorry. I'll try to, hopefully it'll be a little more collected than it feels, but okay, so moving right into, this is my mid-month check-in. Because I kind of am doing a thing this year where I'm picking whips that I'm kind of focusing on each month. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But that's what I'm trying to do. So, yeah. So, mid-month kind of check-in for August. And I have a finished object. I got my Athenaeum socks done. This is a pattern by Kelly Menzies, Roro and Cades. And this yarn is absolutely gorgeous. This is Satsumaimo Pie. I'm just going to be speaking around the boofs because I'm not, it's quite enough. I'm not going to edit around them too much. But so if you hear boofing, I'm sorry, but that's where we're at today. So this is a Satsumaimo Pie collection by Big Little Yarn Co. She came out with it, I think 2023 was the first time, and then she did revisit again 2024 this year, so I'm hoping that she'll bring it back again in 2025 because I absolutely love, I mean, the whole color, all of the colors are gorgeous, but I really love the contrast colors. She did the tonal. So yeah, that's my Athenaeum. It's my library socks, and I'm very excited. I finished them last night. So this is Monday the 19th. I finished them last night. Immediately blocked them. Will be wearing them to my job at the library tomorrow. And it didn't use up too much yarn with the heeled cuff contrast. I still have like a decent chunk of both of those left over. So I'm probably gonna try to get a pair of shorties out of this. We'll see how that goes. So it was stored in this. I don't think I shared project bags last time. It was stored in this beautiful project bag that was made by, I did, Shop La Mercerie does like a Christmas sock set exchange thing I participated in last year. And the gal who had me works at a fabric store. Fabric company, fabric something. I don't remember exactly. It's been a bit. But she made this to go with the yarn that she gave me. So it's very cool. It's a perfect sock project bag. Okay, and I only have 2 finished objects today. We can't hear the construction, but we can hear the dogs barking next door. So bear with us. I'm gonna start lining up my coffee drinking with her barking excessively. So I can just cut the snippets, because I know people don't like drinking noises, which I'm gonna use that moment to share my mug of the day. This is a wood fire pottery by a local Alaskan artist who just last year retired, which I'm really bummed about because he was one of my favorites. I have so many of his pieces, and because my dad was chatting with him and was like, yeah, you know, we come, like, we stop by, there's a forest fair in Girdwood, Alaska that we go to. I wasn't able to make it this year, but I go to most years. And the only other year I missed was the pandemic when they didn't have it. And so he was like, well, just so you know, I'm retiring. This is my last year. And we're like, okay, so this has just shifted the purchasing vibe today. We walked out with so many mugs and bowls. We had to go back up to the car to drop them off. Wood fire pottery is so cool though. If you have a chance to look into it or buy something made with it, do. It's fantastic. Anywho, pottery tangent aside. Second finished object is actually a gift for a friend, and I don't think she's currently watching these. I'm gonna put that back down. I don't think she's currently watching these, but like, just in the off chance, Cece, if you're watching this, you know, just skip this next section. Just skip ahead a few minutes. You won't miss anything. It's okay. Because I'm giving this to her on Saturday, I think is when she gets here. But I want to share it with you guys before I give it to her, and I'm not going to record anything else for another 2 weeks. So it is a little crocheted mushroom headband. This is by MoodyJuice Crochet. Yeah, MoodyJuice Crochet on YouTube. The video is really clear. I feel like you have to kind of know what like a double crochet is, half double crochet. You kind of have to know your basic stitches. Is it a stitch in crochet? I think it's a stitch. I don't do a lot of crochet, so I'm not 100% certain. But you kind of need to know those basic ones. But then again, like, if like, I needed refreshers, but it was clear enough how she was wrapping it in the video that I didn't have to like look them up. I was able to be like, okay, so you just wrap this time and then do this. Like, okay, so if you're familiar with them, you should be fine. I will say, it's a DK weight yarn, and I'm gonna just say that right now because in the description, lists the yarn as we've got dog. Oh. Okay, wants to say hi. Yeah, okay. So she lists the yarn as 1/4 of a centimeter. And then my friend Emma left a comment being like, because I didn't think to comment and ask. So Emma was like, I commented and asked. And she responded that it's 2 millimeters. And I'm like, so I was talking in Kelly's Discord about it, being like, hey, does anyone have an idea? We guessed it was fingering because of the hook sizes, because it's a 2 millimeter hook and a 3.75, and I thought because she was listing the 2 millimeter first that would be the primary one. It's not. The 3.75 is the primary one you're using, and the 2 millimeter is used for things like the teeny tiny mushrooms. There we go. At the bottom of the tassels. They're very cute. It's very cute. But yeah, it is a DK weight. I had to find a ruler that had centimeters on it to be able to measure, because I cast on with fingering weight, and it looked very wrong. I was like, I didn't even get through the this is the first row that you do. I didn't even get through the half double crochet row, and I was like, this is wrong. Lay down, you little grub. Okay. This person with a very loud bass. So if I leave that part in, that's what we were listening to. But yeah, so it was super fun to make. It's super cute. I'm gonna actually make one for myself, I think, using a darker green and then purple, and do kind of like, I play Stardew Valley. I love Stardew Valley. So I'm going to do that for myself, I think, probably this week, because we got the state fair, and so if I have one, I might be like, we should wear them and be like besties with our headbands. It'd be so cool. We'll see. But yeah, that's, and and in the original pattern, she has little dots that you can make. I held, because this is a single ply, the dark red is a single ply yarn, and this is all scrap, like extra yarn, so I don't have ball bands for any of it anymore. It was from before I started keeping ball bands, so you know. But I held it with this fingering strand of this sparkly alpaca yarn. So I didn't do the dots. Also, you have to weave in the ends with the dots, and like they're cute, but there's just an effort versus cute thing that I have, and I didn't think they were cute enough for you do like a knot, and then you like loop it in, and then you have 2 ends that you have to sew in for every single dot, and she was doing 3 dots per mushroom, and so that was 39 dots. So that's, my math is failing me, 78 ends, and I was not doing that. I just wasn't. So yeah, you know, it's all good fun. Okay. We're moving quickly on to whips because that's it for finished objects. I have in this super cute little sheet bag by, what is this? Born Fuzzy Boutique. It's an local Alaskan creator. I'm hoping to actually buy more of her bags at the fair this year. I got this at our state fair, and it's got just the perfect little carrying handle. And she changed how she does the handles now. So last year I didn't like them, but I'm hoping, I was looking at the previews for the fair this year, and they look good. So, you know. What is happening with this? Oh my goodness. Okay. So, I think when I left you guys, I think I do have a stitch marker. Did I put a stitch marker? I did. I think I forgot to, and then I counted backwards and I found where I was. And then I put a stitch marker. So, that's where I was last time. So I've made quite a bit of progress. I got to the split for sleeves, so I'm very happy with that. And I'm working slowly on the body. The body got put on pause a little bit for another whip, for the Athenaeum socks, and then another whip that I'll show you in a second. So I'm just a little bit into the body. I'm gonna knit probably a few inches more. I'm gonna be working on this today. And then I'm gonna put the body on pause and finish off the sleeves so that when my mom tries it on, it actually like is gonna fit through the chest kind of how it's supposed to. Because I know how yarn works. I'm very comfortable with it, and so I can try things on with like the sleeves being loose and be kind of like, okay, so that's kind of gonna fit here, and she's not, so I want her to be able to decide if she wants it longer or not easily. I'm just making a mess of string myself here. And this is, again, this is the EKF Ice Cream Social colorway Peaches and Cream Ice Cream. So it's just a really pretty soft peach. Not the kind of color I wear, but a color I absolutely love. And I think it's gonna look really good on my mom. So that's the current whip. And let me actually try to block out that lace so you can see it. It's so pretty. Yeah. Kelly just does a fantastic job with lace. I love it. And I was right. I did, if you watched the last podcast, I talked about how it was a little bit tricky in the start of the sleeve because you've got that kind of stockinette chunk that you're working across. And Kelly writes out how many stitches you're supposed to knit across. I would just knit to where I knew I was supposed to do the next decrease for the angling for that. And so I made several mistakes and would have to fix them. I got very good at fixing lace. Just little pockets. It was super fun. Let's see. Next whip, I'm gonna show just very quickly. I'm not going through the yarn on it again. If you want to see all of the yarn I'm using, wait until I finish it or go back to the last podcast. But it is my, oh, and the Athenaeum socks were a make 9 The Moonglade Tea is a make 9, and this is also a make 9. So it's a make 9 month. This is where I was. I got 2 rows done. That was it. Again, this was another one that took a back seat to another whip that I cast on. I was trying to get going. But now with the socks finished, I'll be doing more of this. I also had to figure out where exactly I wanted the color blending to go, since I only have 4 colors, and this is the Find Your Fade by Andrea Mowry. Again, EKF yarn. It's the Winter Solstice 2022 box. Yeah, so I've got 4 colors, and you kind of need pretty much all of each color. So I'm trying to figure out the like color blending. It might look a little bit different than Andrea's does, but I'm okay with that. I will say, she's like, the pattern's like, it's super easy, personalize it. And if you don't have experience color blending or kind of figuring that out, I would say maybe dog needs to go out. 1 second. Okay. Sorry about that. Back again. What was I talking about? Find Your Fade. So I think it's written for 7 colors. So I would recommend either like having the 7 colors or having enough yardage that you can kind of align it with where she puts the color blending. Because there's a couple that I'm like, I might be color blending into the lace, which I know you're not supposed to do, but I'm a maverick. I just toss the chips and let them land where they may, and accept the chaos that is my existence. So that's just kind of my only thing, because I know that like when I just started doing color blending in like shawls and stuff, that would have really stressed me out. So yeah. Sorry if you can hear the dog crunching. She managed to find a leaf somewhere and was eating that. So I've given her one of her dental treats, and hopefully that'll stop the sniffing for things. So yeah, obviously if you feel confident and like you want to just jump in, color fade away. But I was a little bit like, because she's just like, personalize it, change it, mix it up, grab whatever you want, use minis, and I'm like, but the pattern's not really written to support the mathing for that. It's very much, if you have the same number of colors, it's very, very well written, and it's super easy to follow. If you're trying to kind of figure out where to put the color blending, it's a little bit trickier. It adds a little bit of nuance. I felt, other people might not, but I did sit down and like I was like doing the math and figuring out like, okay, so this is gonna have to go this far into this, like, so my color fading sections might just be much shorter, which I'm okay with. That doesn't bother me. So yeah, so that was that. I should hopefully have more of that done. I would love to have all of that done by the end of the month, but we'll see. Okay, so next whip, and this is the one that's been taking priority, is actually a design, and you can just barely see kind of like the blue there. I have knit 27 squares. Sorry if you can hear the dog munching. She's chewing quite loudly. I didn't think about that, so sorry if that's the background noise. We're not stopping now though, we're going ahead. So yeah, so 27 squares. This is for a design project. So this is, we're just gonna pause actually while she eats that, and I'm gonna edit it out. Okay, she's finished munching on that. So back to this. So this is for a pattern that I'm designing. It's the Sarah Cardi. I think I'm just gonna call it that because that's what it's always kind of been in my head. I talk about it a lot, I think, in my last episode. So I've got the squares done. I'm gonna block them today, and then my mom's gonna be able to arrange them. I know that not everyone likes seaming together lots of squares, but I kind of like this because then you know how many squares you need, and you can kind of like be like, well, I think I want it to be like half this, and you can kind of, you don't have to plan it out in advance. I mean, if you want to plan out in advance, you're more than welcome to, and if you want to tackle Antarsha, like, let me know and I'll put hacks in. But I like the fact that you can just kind of freeform after the fact. So the main color that she's going with is this purple. I don't know that I showed you guys these last time. I talked about it, but I didn't show you anything, I don't think. So it's purple, that's gonna be the main color, so that's gonna be like the button band and the cuffs and everything. Dog again. So we've got this. These are all Cascade bulky. This is the hand paints. I don't remember the colors. If I remember to, I'll put them up on the screen if I can find them easily. And I like this because like each one looks a little bit different. That's the visual interest skein. I've got a couple of these. This is also going to be because there needs to be on like the cuff part of it. There's a different color. So the main purple will be like the top part of the cuff, the sleeve, and then there's like another section that needs to be a different color. So my mom picked blue for that. And it's going to have dark green. It's going to have, I'm gonna try to grade it for 3 sizes. It's got quite a bit of ease. It is huge. It is huge. And I know for like size inclusivity, you should have the same range of ease for like the largest sizes as you do for the smallest sizes. But here's the thing, this, like mine, it's like they know. It's like they know you're trying to get things done. So why not ring the bell? My other color. My mom doesn't wear a ton of green because she has, so my mom and I have opposite skin tones. Totally different tangent than what's happening before, but she's got a very olive skin tone, so she doesn't wear a lot of green, but she loves the color. And so with kind of how it's going to be broken up, she can place the green squares to where none of them are like right up against her face. And then final color is brown, and then I'm gonna have to go take dog out again because she doesn't actually have to go to the bathroom, but if you don't take her out, she will ring the bell incessantly. Also, sorry if you can hear the chair creaking. It's been destroyed by cats, and it's a very old chair, so it's gonna take 3 times as long to film this as it's going to end up being, I swear. So yeah, so with the, back to the earlier tangent, with the grading on it, I think mine has close to, okay. Sorry if this section has been a little bit choppy. The dog has decided to be an absolute menace. So hopefully she's gone and laid down. Hopefully that will stop now. But yeah, sorry if that's happening. She's cranky, I think, that I'm doing something that doesn't involve her. So yes, so with the cardigan, it's like 40 inches across. Like it's a 70 to 80 inch. I can't remember what mine exactly is. I'm aiming for about 70 inches with my mom's. So it's quite a huge positive ease. It's also a little bit cropped, which I kind of like because you can wear it like closed over top of dresses, or I usually wear mine just kind of open around the house. It's very comfy. It's very cozy. It's a huge positive ease. And so you hit that point to where like, just because you've got a larger bust size doesn't mean that you've got a larger wingspan. So I would like to have at least 14 inches of positive ease at the 70 waist bust size. So, but there's probably going to be about 3 sizes because it is like the wingspan on mine comes to about like here. Like it's just huge. It's just a big oversized comfy cardigan. Yeah, my mom didn't think she wanted one, and then she needed to borrow mine because she was just looking for something to wear easier on the house, and she was just like, this is so nice. I think I need one of these. So that's why we're doing this now. I also like that it is kind of cropped because when you're sitting, it doesn't like you, like sometimes if you like really long cardigans or sweaters, like they bunch up when you sit down and you're just kind of being comfy cozy around like the house. And so with this being a slightly cropped one, you don't get that bunching, but it's still very warm. It's still very like kind of like wearing a hug. So yeah, so I'm working on that. Which kind of naturally transitions into work-life updates. I have not gotten the pattern for the crown shy socks finished yet. I've been in the last couple weeks of my quarter at university. Today is actually my last day of classes for that. So I should finally get that pattern written up by the end of this week is my hope. I'm hoping to have it done before my friend comes this weekend. So fingers crossed, and then I'll get the test call out for that. If I finish it this week, the test call will be out, I think, next Monday, Monday, something like that. Yeah. So, and the pattern is mirrored on the sides of the socks, but I think I'm gonna just ask people to like get a sock done and like get started on the second sock so that I can just see if like the patterning is mirroring proper on socks, just to make sure that like nothing's gone weird with that. So yeah, so look forward to that. The cardigan, I have to block the squares and then get my mom to plan them out, sew them up. I kind of know the basic outline because I have made one of these before. So I'm hoping to have it done and the pattern written by the first week of September is the goal. Partially because I start doing more programs again in the summer at work, in September at work. So that's when my programming picks up and I'll be a little bit busier. It's also the part of my break between quarters. So starting the second week of September, I am back in school. And I also have a couple short trips in September. So I'm hoping to have the cardigan done, pattern written up, so I can put that into testing as well. I think I'm gonna aim for like a 2.5 month test time for it because it is bulky weight, but we'll see. Who knows? So yeah, so that's what's happening with knitting patterns, designing stuff. I'm also suddenly deciding that I've been recording on Mondays because nobody else is home, and so it's just like a little bit easier to have the house be quiet, and I'm starting to think that instead I'm gonna record on Sundays when I have someone to distract the dog. I think that sounds like a better plan. So, yeah, it's good. It's just distracting, and I'm sorry that if she's making a ton of noise. Yeah, it's here. My brain's here. We're just it is the quiet time of year for me at work, so it's been nice. I've been able to get a decent chunk of knitting done. I've had some migraines lately that have not been fun, so that's been cutting into school time and pattern writing time, but hopefully I'm past that, and yeah, doing good. Dog's doing good. I mean, she's a year-old puppy, so it is what it is. It is what it is. She's smart, she's sweet, she's learning. I wish she would learn faster, but that's life. Yeah, I don't think I really have any other life stuff going on. She's bouncing a Kong around, if you can hear that. Yeah. So, thank you. I almost forgot. Thank you to everyone who subscribed. I should have said that at the start. I didn't. I'm sorry. But I'm getting it in. Thank you to everybody who subscribed. I was completely overwhelmed with the response. Thank you especially to Kelly and Kat for doing shout outs on your podcasts, and to Carla for doing a shout out on your Instagram. I really appreciate it. I was kind of expecting that a couple of my friends would subscribe, and that would be it, which is fine. That doesn't bother me at all. But people subscribed based on those kind of recommendations, and I just really appreciate that. Thank you for, you know, wanting to see more of whatever this becomes. I appreciate it so much. And just again, thank you to all my yarny friends. Yeah, so you guys are the reason that I had like the courage to do it, that I felt encouraged to do it, and turned what would have been a really stressful release day into just dog's losing her mind in the background. It's just a really exciting moment instead. I like people, they were messaging when they were subscribing, and it was just instead of being super stressful and anxiety filled, it was a lot of fun. It was super exciting, and so just thank you guys so much for that. I appreciate all of you so much. I don't have words for it. Yeah. So podcast 2, and I was going to talk about books. That's what I was going to talk about. So if you are just here for the yarny stuff and life updates, I'm putting books at the end because I know not everyone wants to listen to both of those things if you're here for yarn stuff. So thank you for watching. No harm, no foul if you exit out here, and if you exited out before the live stuff, I forgot to say goodbye then. So you're not seeing this, but you know, I appreciate that too. So real quick, books. I started adding books because I read a lot, and I work in a library, and I'm in school to be a librarian, so I feel like, you know, like I should talk about the books I'm reading. That makes sense to me. Current read is The Boys in the Boat. Daniel James Brown. I don't read a lot of, one second, but I don't know how much you can pick up of her squeaking her Kong toys. So I'm sorry if you can hear that. I'm gonna share my bookmark because it makes me so happy. And then you flip it over. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Grover's There's a Monster at the End of This book. It was one of my favorite books growing up. We still have it at our library. I skim read it anytime it comes across the circulation desk. Not when people are checking it out. When people return it or it's coming back from transit, I skim read it. But I found this bookmark, and I absolutely had to have it. And it's got a nice tassel, so I don't leave it in books because I have done that. I had to text my coworker one time and be like, hey, can you check this book that's in transit that I definitely have to bookmark in? Thankfully it was in the book, and she found it and she pulled it out, and so now it only goes in books that I own. If you're wondering what Mackenzie's bookmark habits. But yeah, The Boys in the Boat. I don't read a lot of nonfiction. It just doesn't grab me usually. I can hear the dog squeaking, and it's just a presence. So sorry if you guys can hear it as well, but I'm not gonna make her stop because she's not ringing the bell or jumping at me. So we're gonna just count this as a win, and sorry if the end of the podcast is a bit squeaky. So it details the kind of build up to the 1936 U.S. men's Olympic rowing team, and like the building of the team across like the years at their university, because they're at the University of Seattle. Like I said, I don't read a lot of nonfiction. I'm interested in history and things. I mean, I have a master's with a history thesis. Like I do enjoy that kind of stuff. But I think also you hit a certain point of time in academia, and it just doesn't grab me. It's not a focal point for me. So I picked this one up though because one of my coworkers really highly recommended it. She said it was just amazing. And I like rowing. It's something that if we had clubs in where I live, I would do it. We have one in the nearest city, but not in the local space that I live in, and I'm not driving out to the city. It's like an hour plus away. I'm not making that trek for rowing. So, but yeah, so she knew that I liked rowing. She knew that I was interested in that, and so she recommended that, and mostly done with it. I'm getting there, like 67%. I have a Goodreads. I log stuff on that. I might put the link to the bottom of that if people are curious at the next podcast. But yeah, this is very rambly and distracted, and I'm terribly sorry about that. Okay, I'm gonna try to wrap this up quickly, since I've kind of forgotten where I was. I just know that I was rambling. But yeah, Boys in the Boat, really good. If you like nonfiction, I highly recommend it. If you're interested in any of that, it's good. The it's Daniel James Brown, and I think he just does a fantastic job of kind of bringing the setting to life. Yeah, it's just it's one that, like, I don't know, so I don't know if everyone else has this. Like, I have books that, like, I always, like, I just want to pick back up. I have to put them down, and I just want to pick them right back up again. Nonfiction is very rarely that for me. Sorry, I had to cough. Nonfiction is very rarely one of that for me. And this is not necessarily that for me. Like, I'm not constantly looking forward to, like, reading more of it. Like, I'm not like, oh my God, I've got to finish this. But it is one that when I pick it up, I have a really hard time putting it back down. And so for nonfiction, for me, that's my barometer for what's a really riveting story and a really good voice of the author, is when I have a hard time putting it down. Like, I was up until 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock the other night, trying to just read more, because I just wanted to know what was happening next. And I finally got tired enough that I couldn't focus on the page anymore, and that was when I stopped. But yeah, like, you just want to see what's happening next. Like, you know how it's gonna work. Like, you know what the outcome is. Like, there's a reason that we're writing about this story. But the style is really engaging. I really enjoyed that. Yeah. The other book I'm reading right now is Rebel Skies. This is a young adult book. It's about these people who are called crafters, who they can control paper with their mind. Without touching it, they can build things. And there's, what are they called? Shikigami, which are paper beings with, like, a core, so they're alive somehow. People can keep the cores, but they've forgotten how to make shikigami. So it's interesting, and you're kind of following this young character, Karara, and there's people who live in cities in the sky and people who live on the ground. There's a whole cultural space. It's interesting. It's not currently, I'm about a third of the way through, I think, and it's hovering about 3 stars for me. I'm enjoying it, but I'm not, like, enthralled. I do want to see how it ends. It is a series. It is a series. The second book is, well, there's a preview, sneak peek for the second book, Rebel Fire, at the end. So I'm assuming it's coming out soon. I don't know that I'll read the second book, but it's one that I found when I was covering books at the library, and I do try to read the young adult books that catch my eye, because we have I like being able to recommend things. I like, when I'm recommending things, I very rarely recommend books to younger people. It's just a bit of a hornet's nest kind of situation. So it's just easier for them to kind of, like, go through, find what they want themselves. And most of them know what they like, thankfully, are big readers. If I do recommend something for younger people, it's a parent asking me books, and you can have that kind of conversation, parent to adult. But when I do recommend things, I like to have read it first so that I know what I'm recommending. With adult books, you can kind of be like, well, this is really popular. I know that it has these themes, but with juveniles, especially with how every parent has a different way that they want to raise their kids. You know, it's also nuanced, and it's also personal, that there's, like, 1 or 2 kids that I know their parents really well, and I know kind of what their parents deem appropriate. That's when I find a book that reminds me of them. I'll read it, and that way I know I can recommend it safely. So this is one of those. So yeah, so it's interesting. It's good. I think I would have liked it a lot when I was a teen, but as an adult, I'm like, it's all right. It's all right. It is a very interesting concept. I will say that, and I am intrigued to see how it ends and where it's gonna go. So yeah, if you stayed for the book rambling, thank you. If you stayed through all of the dog noise, thank you. I'm gonna have to cut out so much of this. It's been a very spacey kind of, yeah. So yeah, so thank you for watching. Thank y'all for watching. Thank you for anyone who subscribed. If you liked it, feel free to toss us a little thumbs up in the doobly-doo. If you want to see more, feel free to subscribe. I'm gonna try to be doing these every 2 weeks. Yeah. Sorry for the spaciness. It's been that kind of a morning. Again, this has taken me 2 hours to an hour to get to where I can record, and now it's almost an hour of recording, and I know I'm gonna cut at least, there's gonna be a chunk of that's gone just because the dog and spaciness. So thank you for sticking with me. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time.